What's up guys, it's Max Merck here, and today I'm very excited to show you guys my new winter beater car, I guess you could say. It is the 2002 Mercedes-Benz ML500. This one is also a sport package, as you can tell by the fender flares, the ML55 style front bumper, the Evo 2 style wheels. It does have a sport badge right there, the fender flares in the rear, and the AMG style rear bumper, which as you can see is pretty cracked. These tend to crack. I'm not sure if they're fiberglass, but whatever material they are, I've seen a lot of cracked ones on the road. And essentially I'd been looking for kind of an SUV, a 4x4, and my friend Bern, who actually also has a YouTube channel, Bern Romulus, found this car on Facebook Marketplace, sent me the link, and I've been looking for ML500s or ML55s mainly. I didn't want a V6, just because, you know, they're big heavy cars, and you know, you need those 8 cylinders for the most power. And I went out and checked the car one night, actually a couple nights ago. It was at nighttime, everything checked out to me. I was pretty happy with what I was seeing. I hooked up my scan tool, everything pretty much seemed to check out. No lights in the dash. Cosmetically, the car is a bit rough. As you can see, the rear bumper is pretty cracked. That just needs to be replaced all in all. There is some typical W163 chassis ML surface rust around the trunk lid here, right down there. What else do we have? You know, of course, a little bit of surface rust down here by the doors. This turn signal indicator seems to be broken and needs to be replaced. It does have xenon headlamps, which is a huge plus. One of them is out and the other one is pretty dim, so both of them need to be replaced anyway. The front bumper is also pretty cracked up. Yeah, over here, I don't know who decided it would be a good idea to screw the bumper and fog light assembly back together. They screwed in the headlight washer cover, so fun. It's been quite scuffed up here. Clear coat is peeling up here on the right front fender, and we do have a little bit more surfaced rust bubbling action going on the side as well. So nothing too atypical for a 163 chassis ML. I will be touching up a lot of this stuff, you know, to the best of my abilities. I really do like this color. It is a black opal metallic. It's like a black in some lights, it's like a blue in some lights, it's a green in some lights, a purple in other lights. It's one of those colors. So right now the way the lighting is hitting it, it's kind of making it look like a dark blue almost, but in some lights it looks almost purple, and in other lights almost greenish. And it does have the Evo 2 style wheels, which I believe were originally off of the 190 Evo, but they are original to the car. Everything is original on this car, which is nice. Did come with both keys. I have the other key upstairs, but it's in equally worn condition as this one. It is the old school switchblade style Mercedes key, which they are no longer even making, so I'll have to get some air tags or something and make sure I don't lose these. So only one of them works, as you can see. Go ahead and lock it. The other one, I tried to resynchronize it, didn't work. I opened up the battery, of course I replaced all the batteries, and one of the contacts for the battery inside here on the spare key was a little bit bent. I bent it back, tried resynchronizing it again, still no luck. I looked inside on the circuit board, and it looked like at one point maybe it had seen some water, or someone had spilled some water on it, because it looked a little bit corroded. I don't really know if there's anything that can be done about that, but of course it can still be functioned as a manual key. But you know, I have one key for now, and like I said, they did discontinue making these keys, which is stupid coming from Mercedes, but I believe the supplier or manufacturer of these keys went out of business or something like that. But I'll give you a little walk around once again. Yeah, the back is not in the best shape. Hopefully I can find some junkyard parts for this. It does have that single AMG stamped exhaust tip. I do want to smoke out this white portion of the taillight like the later, I think it was the 04 and 05 models. That does look quite smart. And of course the wheels overall, all of them have a little bit of pitting right on the emblem right here. Of course not in the best shape, but I don't think I'll be doing anything with them because I like the wheel style, of course, the original wheels. But I don't think it's really worth the money to refinish them. This is a winter beater, of course, at the end of the day for me. But, you know, I'll be doing the best as I can to, you know, clean this up, tidy it up. Right now, the way you're seeing it is the way that I picked it up. I really haven't done anything to this car at all. So let's go ahead and hop in. One time for the driver door, a second time for the other doors. It does have the Java leather interior. This is genuine leather. Both the front seats are power adjustable with 3-way memory settings, both heated of course as well. This cup holder does not work open There's no cup holder even in there, so I'm going to see if I can find a junkyard one of those. Seat wear, once again, not bad at all for the age of this car. I'm going to be giving this interior a leather eke treatment once it warms up the weather. And this armrest leather is a bit stretched. I know this is a common problem on some of these Mercedes, and I'm going to be trying. I saw a method where you heat this up with a hairdryer or a heat gun and then put like a cold damp cloth on it, and apparently that'll make the leather tighten up again. So I'm going to be giving that a try. And then you can see here someone put the wrong screws that hold this driver seat adjustment panel together. It was pretty much loose and falling off when I picked up the car. I went back and properly seated it. I'm gonna have to once again at the junkyard look for the proper screws. It does have the Bose sound system, and inside the car here all the lights work. Everything is nice, nice shape. This should be the low range button, and this should be the fog light and rear fog light button. However, during the test drive, when I went to push it, it fell into the dash. So I'm going to have to pull this out and reseat that in there. And if it doesn't want to sit, just get a new control switch, which should fix that problem. The facelift W163 ML did also get the nicer climate control. It does have automatic climate control. As you can see back here, you can push auto and it'll mimic the front settings, or you can scroll through airflow settings as well as fan adjustment settings. Down here you have your heated seat settings. These are your power rear quarter windows that'll open and close. I'll show you that. Rear washer button, ESP traction control, the other quarter window, and heated seat again. Nice wood shift knob that's also cracked. Hopefully I can find another piece. But all these things don't really matter to me that much. Once again, it is a winter beater. This ashtray doesn't want to stay closed. I did fish out a couple bobby pins that were stuck and jammed in there. However, I do have to take apart this whole console right here to open this up and take it out fully and try and see if I can get that fixed. All the buttons work. I've tested every single button and switch. Everything works. It does have a rear view auto dimming mirror. Up here it does have the tail aid, which of course no longer works. That's like Mercedes' roadside assistance of the day. And this roller cover right here actually is broken, as you'll see. I'll open it, but this is actually broken. So I found this in the glove box. When I saw it, when I picked up the car, it was just like this. It was open, and I thought that the cover itself was missing, but I looked back here and realized it is just rolled back in there. So I can grab that and close this, and I put that piece back in there. However, I will have to get some Gorilla Glue or some sort of adhesive, stick this back together. Very easy fix. In here is the cup holder. You just flip that out. When I picked up the car, this was broken. It was out of it, or not broken, but it was out of its tracks, and I was figuring out why it didn't work. But then I looked closer and saw you can just slide it back in its tracks, and that works just fine. Car has 3 cup holders, which is nice. But this has got one there, which I need to fix. That one works. Show you that. Cup holder there, nice and big. Coin slots or whatever. The glove box. Passenger seat is in very nice shape. A leather treatment will really hopefully bring out the the suppleness of this leather, because right now it's a little bit hard. As you can see, the headliner as well is in nice shape. So let me go ahead and start it up. Pop out that switchblade, insert the key there. These are your headlight washer button, but as you saw, someone screwed that in, so I don't know if that'll work. No lights on the dash. It's got 172,931 miles. The thermostat is accurate. Clock, gear selection right there. This is your MCS, which is Mercedes' infotainment system for the W163. I think that stands for Modular Control System, I believe, something like that. It does have the Bose sound system. It has radio, tape, cassette, which is funny, CD, 6-disc CD changer in the back. In the trunk, navigation. This car doesn't have the DVD, but I might have navigation, so I have to see if I can find a DVD for it. Telephone, no telephone installed. You can adjust the sound settings. And then this does pop open as well. That's where your navigation DVD would go. The cassette would go right there. That's the trip computer right there. You can toggle through it. I have to figure this out, but pretty old school stuff. It does have HomeLink for 2002, which is cool. Sunroof does work. If I push the button, you can see those quarter windows open up right there. Everything works. This is the rear seat. Excellent shape. the rear seats of the W163 ML fold in a very smart way. So most SUVs would just fold your rear seats like this. You just fold it like that, and that's the best you get. But in the ML right here, you can pull this lever, move the fore and aft adjustment. The entire seat moves forward, and then you can go ahead and pull out these headrests, and then you can go ahead and fold this down. And then if you grab this lever and that lever at the same time, it'll fold down flat. Just like so. The seat has folded completely flat to the floor. And then you can store these headrests right here when not in use. As you can see, it dips down. And there are actually supposed to be some covers right here that fold over and then make it completely flat. Those are missing on this car, as well as the rear trunk does have that roller cover. Once again, hopefully I can find those at a junkyard. That's the back end. As I said, it does have that pretty nasty bubbling surface rust, but what are you gonna do? I don't think I'll be doing anything about that. It's probably gonna be not worth it to fix, so it'll just be the way it is. Trunk pops open. The struts actually hold pretty well. Like I said, it should have those covers that go over there so it can lie completely flat. In here, if we open these, you can see, if I unscrew this, there's your 6-disc CD changer. So you can slide this open and then push that button. Everything works, just pops out, and you have a CD magazine right here, 6 discs. It's got another 12 volt back here, which is pretty cool. Then you've got hooks for days all over on the bottom of the trunk, everywhere, so you can do pretty much whatever you want in terms of cargo management. So you could option the W163 ML with a 3rd row. This one doesn't have it. Not that I would use it. It does take up a lot of space because it like folds up here, which is very old school. Here's with the hazards on. As you can see, this turn signal indicator is out. Some condensation got in. This LED indicator does work, and as I mentioned, the mirrors do fold in. So if I push this button, as you can see, both sides do go ahead and fold in. It even has some map lights down here. So before we go on this drive, let me show you guys all the goodies that came in for the ML500. So these are all from FCP Euro. I'm not sponsored by them, but I wish I was. I should be, honestly. We've got 2 Philips D2S xenon bulbs. We've got all the liquid moly oil we need, additives, engine flush, Ceratec, as well as MOS2. I've covered all those stuff in my C63 maintenance video. This is just all the stuff I do for all my cars. We've got Bosch wiper blades, front and rear. We've got all 16 spark plugs. The M113 has 2 spark plugs per cylinder. I've done this before on my CLK 500. It's kind of a pain of a job, but it's definitely doable. There's a tool that I got online that helps with pulling these spark plug wires out. Highly recommend. That would make this job a lot easier. And also there's a lot more room in the ML500 as opposed to the CLK 500, so it should be easier. We've got our MAN oil filter, Hengst cabin air filter, as well as our MAN air filter. And there's one more thing before we get going. I noticed with the tires, when I first got the car and just kind of looking at it now, that it kind of looked a little bit off. It didn't look as aggressive or as meaty as it should be. So I looked at the tire sizes, and all 4 of the tires are a 245 65 R17, and then I looked up the proper tire size for the 02 ML500 Sport, and it should be a 275 55 R17. So it's a little, actually it's quite a bit narrower than it should be. So I'd imagine with the proper 275 tire size, it should be a lot more aggressive. So the W163 Generation ML came out in 1998 with the ML320, and the pre-facelift ran from 1998 to 2001, and from 2002 to 2005 was the facelift, which this is a 2002. Now at first they had the ML320, the ML430, and then the ML55. Then with the facelift you had the ML350, the ML500, and the ML55. And what's really cool and makes the W163 chassis ML special to me is that, I grew up, my mom had 2 of these. She had a 1998 ML320 and then a 2001 ML320. The 1998, they had got it, they were one of the first people in the area to have the ML when it first came out here in the DC area. This was before I was born, but I do remember the car. They still had the car after I was born, so I do remember it vaguely. But they said at the time when it first came out, when they would drive around, they'd get so many head turns and looks, because at the time it was the first of its kind, a Mercedes SUV utility vehicle. That was not the G-Wagon. Then we had the 2001 ML320, and then now this is my ML500. I do notice that it idles just a little bit rough, but I think the spark plugs will rectify that. But overall, very nice. Nothing on the dash. The motor mounts feel okay, which is very common on these. The seats are very comfortable. These are genuine leather. The heated seats work, of course. I can feel them warming up. Power off the line is just excellent. You can feel that 325 torque, and it's about 288 horsepower, I believe, from the factory. So I'm sure it's lost some, but we're gonna do spark plugs, a little bit of a tune-up. I'm gonna replace all the filters. Brakes are definitely powerful enough to stop the car, but they do feel a bit mushy, and you do feel a lot more brake pressure towards the end of the brake travel, which I don't really like, but I'm sure a brake fluid flush down the line will make it feel a little bit better. But I mean, it definitely stops when you want it to when you get on the brakes, but you don't feel much at the top, and then a lot of braking power towards the end. It's got a nice grunt to it, that M113 V8. It definitely needs a little bit of an alignment, but everything else is fine. Yeah, and while it definitely handles a bit like a body-on-frame truck, it's definitely not bad. I'm sure on those 275s it'll feel a bit better as well around the corners. The steering is quite light, I will say. And what I don't like is that the steering's a bit heavy at low speeds, but then it gets light at high speeds, which it should be the opposite, if you ask me. This is the 5-speed automatic transmission. If you want, you can manually shift gears via the gear lever right here. And while it's, obviously dated and a bit slow by modern standards, it does what you want it to for the most part, and it's smooth, very smooth. Definitely a tune-up will help. That was the kickdown switch right there, especially in that 2,000 to 4,000 RPM range. It's just got a lot of torque. It goes to 7,000 RPM redline. It's about 50 horsepower short of the ML55 of this time, which I believe is around 340, 350 horsepower. Also the M113 engine, naturally aspirated. That was the 5.4 liter. Right now I've got it locked into third gear, going around these super windy twisties. I test all my cars. A lot of cars I drive are on these twisties, and this is definitely probably the worst handling one. I feel like quite a dad driving around in the SUV like this, but I like it. Off the line right here. That was the kickdown switch, and it feels like it's got all 8 cylinders, giving healthy power. Once again, I'm curious how it'll feel after I change all the filters, do the spark plugs. But overall, as it is right now, the way that I purchased it for $3,200, definitely needs a little bit of love. But I'm out here looking for some dirt roads. I really like this commanding driving position, but it's just great. It soaks everything up. Pretty comfortable. Okay. That's a bit of rough road right here. And some water. Maybe I'll come back here one time it rains. I know that there's some more standing water, hopefully not too high that I can try to wade through. But let me, service the car first. All right, I guess that's the end of that gravel road. I think that's the best I can find right now without going to an actual trail, and I want to get the car sorted out. But overall, that's a nice preliminary little drive to just see how the ML500 feels. And I suppose this is a nice spot to wrap up the video. Give you one more little kick down. If you guys like this video, be sure to hit that like button, as well as subscribe for more videos on the ML500 and the rest of the cars. It would really mean a lot to me. And let me know what you guys think of the ML500 in the comments section down below. Thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.